At 7:02, I will formally open the July board meeting for the Village of Red Hook. This meeting is being held in person in compliance with open meetings law. The meeting has been noticed and will be available for viewing on Panda on Wednesday. So thank you all for so quickly getting back to being in person. I'm not sure it was expected that the governor would make that change so quickly. So thank you for being here, and thank you for those in attendance. And I'm now doing a roll call. Charlie Lang.
Present.
Melkorka Kjarval.
Here.
Brent Kowalczyk.
Present.
And Will Noonan.
Present.
So we have a quorum. We'll start with the minutes for the June 14th Village Board meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. The minutes for the workshop meeting will be forthcoming. And now we move on to committee reports, and we are going to start with the treasurer's report. Ray?
In terms of the treasurer's report dated July 12th, 2021, the account balances as of the end of June 30th, for the general fund, $1,136,008.76. I want to point out that because of tax collections, we're now at 89%, and last year at this time it was 85%, so we're doing somewhat better than last year in that regard. The water fund, $139,129.19. Trust and agency, $23,509.37. Petty cash, $39.34. Village green, $4,502.92. Hard scrabble, $2,050.85. Health insurance, $4,691.62. And the sewer fund, $2,042.79. The reserve checking balances, fire department, $5,033.05. Police, $14,584.32. USDA, $134,025.59. Highway, $20,785.62. Snow reserve, $3,279.41. Tower reserve, $17,710.97. Unemployment, $4,544.02. Court reserve, $3,298.51. And the office reserves, $972.50. The monthly expenses for the month of June, general fund, $260,536.21. Water fund, $43,467.19. Trust and agency, $2,050.28. And sewer, $16,178.93. That concludes the treasurer's report.
I'd like a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you very much, Ray. Now it's apparently my turn. The police report for the month of June. There were a total number of 408 incidents. And of those 408, 294 were in the village of Red Hook, 113 in the town of Red Hook, and 1 in the village of Tivoli. UTTs, there were 27, 18 of them in the village of Red Hook, including 1 parking ticket, and 8 in the town of Red Hook. There were 4 arrests, 2 in the village of Red Hook and 2 in the town of Red Hook. And I believe that is all I have to report. I do not have reports on any of the other items. So with that, we can move to Will.
Okay,
Anything to report?
sure. Report from the zoning and planning department. Building permits issued, 9. No certificates of occupancy issued. Certificate of compliance, 1. Municipal searches, 10. Orders to remedy, stop work orders, and court orders, 0. Fire inspections, 14. Complaints, there appears to be 1 complaint, at least complaints received regarding the current village zoning for GB, I'm not sure what that is, general business, I guess, and R 10,000 district. The issue is being discussed with the village attorney. Planning board actions, June 15th was a meeting. Preliminary discussion for a site plan for property located at 7468 South Broadway. Zoning Appeals Board, there were no meetings during the month due to the death of a family of the chair of the board. The building department was busy this month. Certificate of occupancy searches were 10, building permits 11, driveway permits 1, fire inspections 1, site plan application 1. Total income for June was $5,450. And that was the zoning and planning department. I have no report for the Veterans Affairs. Emergency services, we're still working on the contract with the Red Hook Fire Company and have no current report from the fire company. And that concludes the reports.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Kowalczyk?
Thank you. I start with the Village Green monthly report. Current balances of our related budget accounts are as follows, and this is a brand-new budget year, so we're looking pretty good. Community beautification, $4,000. Shade tree contractual, $10,500. Village Green checking account, $4,502.62. And there were no Village Green Committee meetings held during the month of June. The Highway Department submitted a list of trees to be removed that may create hazardous conditions for vehicular or pedestrian safety. Dave's Tree Service has been awarded the contract to remove the trees, and the following trees are scheduled to be removed in the spring of 2021, or fall of 2021. And we have trees on Elizabeth Street, Memorial Park, Park Avenue, and Old Post Road, the Red Hook Village Building, the Firehouse Lane Wellfield, Richard Abrahams Memorial Park, West Market Street, and 4 at the wastewater treatment plant at Red Hook Commons, which will be included as part of the site work for the sewer project.
And just to clarify, it would be either this coming fall, 2021, or the following spring, so 2022 is correct.
So it's all correct. Good, thank you. And trees are to be removed and will be considered as part of the site work, as I mentioned, for the scope of the Red Hook sewer project, and that's in the Red Hook wastewater treatment plant. Total cost of tree removal is estimated to be $10,450 and will be deducted from the general fund budget line 8560, which is shade tree contractual. And that's kind of why we're splitting it up between the 2 seasons, just to make sure if there is any emergencies that come up during the course of the year, we'll have enough money left into our fund balance to pay for those unexpected situations. And Village Green Committee officers are encouraged to review the list of trees scheduled to be removed and consider replacing removed trees during future tree planting days. And residents and businesses interested in having a tree or trees planted on their adjacent village right-of-ways, volunteering for planting days, or making a donation to support the Village Green Committee's various community beautification projects may contact David Pearson, myself, or the village clerk. Village of Red Hook Highway Department monthly report. The Village Highway Department is picking up leaves and brush every first and third Monday of the month, and that's schedule and weather permitting. Residents are reminded to place lawn debris, leaves, and brush in separate piles curbside and not in the road. Please limit brush piles to 6 feet by 6 feet by 6 feet, with tree branches no longer than 6 inches in diameter. Brush that includes tree trunks, stumps, garbage, or construction material will not be picked up. Neighbors are encouraged to share a brush pile. This will make pickup easier and quicker. And please limit your brush pile to 1 pile per household.
And if I can just, excuse me, just to clarify, we try for Monday, but the intention is certainly for that week, for the week.
Yeah. Sometimes they get busy on Monday with other things, so. And the village received an estimate from Seal and Stripe Pavement Maintenance Specialist on June 14th to repaint stop bars and crosswalks on village streets. The estimated cost of $4,750 will be deducted from the general fund budget line, maintenance of streets, contractual expenses, and street maintenance. The village also received an estimate from Callahan Industries on June 9th to repave and overlay Ludlow Avenue and 5th Street. The total project costs of these two projects will be $52,000, and this will be deducted from the general fund budget line, which is our CHIPS allocation, Consolidated Highway Improvement Program, and that's funding by the state of New York. Estimates were also received to mill and pave Park Avenue at $41,825 and Elizabeth Street for $33,950. These additional repaving projects will be considered for the next fiscal year. A resident on Prince Street indicated that water from storms are draining into his driveway and garage. The village engineer has inspected and reviewed the conditions and will make a determination to remedy the situation. And I believe he did that on Friday while we were busy signing papers. A request from a resident on Cambridge Drive for children at play signs to be located on Cambridge Drive and Amherst Road. The Board of Trustees will review recommended legal procedures and consider adding new signs in these areas. So that's something where I think we're still checking up on.
Yeah.
Just the procedure on how to go forward with those. And the village received 2 schemes to improve the intersection at South Broadway and Amherst Road and Firehouse Lane from Delaware Engineering. The schemes will be reviewed and possibly submitted to the Dutchess County Transportation Council and the New York State DOT for funding considerations. Revenue from the sale of scrap metal was received on June 3rd in the amount of $596.80, which is the total revenue generated from the sale of scrap metal this fiscal year. So this has been pretty good. That number has to be changed on the last part. So this fiscal year, we've received $596.80. Since inception of the scrap metal recycling program in September of 2007, $36,889.11 has been generated, and proceeds from this program go toward the purchase of tools and equipment for the village highway, water, and materials management departments. Businesses or residences interested in donating scrap metal may contact the village highway department at 758-8600 or the village clerk's office, and the highway department personnel will assist property owners by picking up scrap metal upon request.
And what number did you mention?
This one. Should be that number.
That may be
Typo.
the amount from the last fiscal year.
The Red Hook Infrastructure and Intermunicipal Task Force monthly report. I think I'm going to jump the gun and give some news out that usually is reported, will be reported next month, but meetings for the sewer project were held on June 4th, 11th, and 25th in the Red Hook Village Building and via telephone conference calls. We reviewed the status of the prime general and prime electrical contractor submissions for bonding, insurance, MWBE requirements, etc., necessary for the village to award contracts and receive final funding approval from USDA Rural Development and the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation. There were a bunch of documents that we had to sign. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but from our bond counsel, and they were submitted, signed, and reviewed and submitted to the appropriate agencies. A pre-construction meeting was held on July 9th to discuss the scope of work, preliminary construction schedules, project expectations by the village, and review site conditions at the wastewater treatment plant. We also the mayor signed the contracts for both the general and the electrical contractor. I was honored to witness that and sign those documents myself. So we are up and running. We've still got a lot of work to do before the notice to proceed is done, and this basically requires review and approval by the funding agencies and the attorneys as well. The anticipated project timelines are as follow. July 8th, closing on financing with the New York State EFC and execution of the agreements by the village mayor, which had been done. And I believe on Wednesday, July 8th, we did receive our
That's
both
actually
long-term and
Thursday.
it's Thursday, sorry. All of our financing was approved by the board at the Environmental Facilities Corporation. July 9th, the village mayor signed the agreements. August or September, it may be September, October. We're anticipating construction to begin on the sewer project with substantial completion of November 2022 and final project completion of December of 2022.
Yeah.
A new pump has been purchased for the wastewater treatment plant located at the Red Hook Commons. Funds will be borrowed from the water fund and reimbursed by the funds from the Federal American Recovery Act. And water distribution system maintenance and improvements. The water main valves have been exercised by Delaware Engineering during the month of June. 2 valves were determined to be inoperable. Authorization has been granted to repair and replace those valves. The approximate $22,000 cost will be deducted from the water fund budget of water repairs. The Tower Street elevated water storage tank and the Firehouse Lane well field ground-mounted storage tank interiors have been inspected and cleaned by Underwater Solutions Incorporated during the month of June as well. The $7,890 cost will be deducted from the water fund. Estimates were received from Delaware Engineering on June 1st for new pump controllers to replace hardware, software, and reprogramming of the control system. It also included engineering services and contingencies. The estimated project cost is approximately $186,000, and funding from agencies in the ARP, the American Recovery Plan, are being considered prior to beginning this work. And the village fire hydrants are scheduled to be flushed during the week of July 12th, which is this week, between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. by the village highway department and village water operator. And I believe the notice has also been put in our newsletter that went out with the water bills, and information is also available on our website. On the intermunicipal task force side, both Charlie and I represent the village of Red Hook. A task force meeting was held on June 18th at the Red Hook Town Hall to review the status of proposed and recommended legislation on short-term rentals. The town board has taken recommendations from both the intermunicipal task force and the Economic Development Committee under consideration. Public informational meetings and public hearings will be conducted by the town board during the review and deliberation process prior to the adoption of the short-term rental regulations. And one more. So there were no meetings of the Town of Red Hook Zoning Review Committee or the Community Preservation Fund Advisory Board, which I'm members of both boards. The current balance of the Community Preservation Fund as of June 30th is $2,217,384.76. The Town of Red Hook Local Waterfront Revitalization Program, or LWRP Working Group. There were no meetings held during the month of June. Comments pertaining to Section 2 of the proposed amendments of the Red Hook LWRP are being reviewed, considered, and addressed by the working group. There were no meetings of the Northern Dutchess Alliance Executive Committee and the Village of Red Hook Zoning Review Committee. Karen and I both sit on that committee, and we met on June 25th at the Red Hook Village Building with our land use attorney, and we discussed the following amendments. This is Section 10B, amendments to the General Business District to allow pre-existing one-family, two-family, and multifamily dwellings for alterations, improvements, and modification in accordance with the R10,000 bulk regulations. We reviewed Section 211, which is the deletion of the highway business district and the replacement with standard for the gateway business district. And we also reviewed the zoning map. We are proposing to add 8 properties to the neighborhood mixed-use district and 1 property to the gateway business district. The Sawkill Watershed Community monthly report, there were no meetings held during the month of June. However, issue 18th of June 30th of the Sawkill Watershed Community Newsletter was circulated. And some interesting articles on salamanders and frogs and understanding the Sawkill data sets. And that is all I have.
Brent, I have a question.
Sure.
Where will the sewer project begin its work?
We don't know at this point. So when we discussed it was kind of a preliminary scope of work of when the schedule will be started. So the contractor this is one in a series of meetings.
Okay.
So the first step is really to, get all the paperwork in place so the engineers can issue the notice to proceed. And I would imagine the first piece of work will be at the plant.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
they'll be ordering those materials, and it's a prefab package plant, so they'll do the site work and prep for that. And then as far as how they move out to the rest of the village, we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Trustee Lang.
Good evening. I have a Village of Red Hook Water Treatment Facilities monthly report. So for the month of June, the water treatment facility treated 7,588,300 total gallons, which is an average of 252,900 gallons a day, which is right in line with a sort of average of 250,000 gallons a day, which seems to be a reasonable place to be in. There were also 4 samples were sent out for bacteriological testing, and they all came back clean, so that's always reassuring. And chemical usage for the month of June, the water treatment plant used 75 gallons of sodium hypochlorite, and that is an average daily use of 2.5 gallons a day. So that's all in line with, regular operations. There's a short list of outstanding issues, repairs, needs with the water system, but I mean, a big thing is exercising those valves and, flushing hydrants, and so it's great that we're on course with that work. And then Brent touched on some of the maintenance and replacement work ongoing with the wastewater system with the plant. I would normally also have a materials management report, but this month I didn't get the invoice, or we didn't get the invoice from UCRA, from the Ulster County Resource Recovery Agency, in time for the meeting, so we will have a combined report next month, I think.
Excellent. And just as a note on facilities, buildings, and grounds, I can comment within the first couple of weeks of being mayor, I discovered the plumbing issues with the bathrooms on the first floor. Those have successfully been fixed for now. And last week, in the first major rain, we discovered some leaks from the roof. So I have had a nice tour of the attic. Thank you to Sergeant Hildenbrand, and we have some lovely buckets up there collecting the drips while I follow up with a roofing contractor who will probably have to seal some roof penetrations to make that go away. So sadly, we have more rain to come, but hopefully we will get that fixed and tighten up our wonderful village hall. And so thank you, Trustee Lang and Trustee Kjarval.
So I have a report from Red Hook Together. July's discussion theme was reopening, and local organizations shared what they what changed for the organization since reopening, what stayed consistent throughout the pandemic, as well as what lessons were brought forward into recovery mode. We also considered the need for a community-wide and regional approach to making meetings more accessible moving forward. A working group will be meeting to discuss possibilities for collaboration on that issue in the near future. The Human Relations Committee. The Human Relations Committee met a third time on the evening of Thursday, July 8th. We agreed upon an initial mission and vision. The mission of the Red Hook Village Human Rights Committee is to promote inclusive engagement in village life for all through listening, advocacy, communication, education, and advising local policy. And the vision is Red Hook is a place where all who live, work, study, or visit are valued for who they are and are empowered to engage in community life. We also worked further on a community survey and committee application, which we hope to finalize this month and launch in September. The Hardscrabble Events Committee. This year's Hardscrabble Day will be on Saturday, September 18th, 2021. More information will be available soon on our Facebook, Instagram, and Hardscrabble website. Our committee is hard at work confirming details and coordinating with talented individuals. This week, we are opening up sponsorship opportunities and the vendor application process. We are looking forward to gathering safely outside to celebrate as a community. Any community members interested in volunteering for the day of the event can email the committee at hardscrabble@redhooknyvillage.org. And finally, the Red Hook Public Library. The Red Hook Public Library thanks the village and the highway department for lending and setting up for us the village's tent on the lawn at St. Margaret's. It's providing comfort and shade for the library youth programs this summer. Also,
Probably more rain protection than shade, but
there continues to be an open seat on the Board of Trustees of the library. Anyone interested should contact the director, Dawn Jardine.
wonderful, thank you.
And thank you, Mel Corker, for the newsletter. for
Oh,
updating
yes.
it and changing
The,
it. It looks so much better.
The newsletter that it went out with the water bills, I worked on the information with Greg, but it was Mel Corka who made it look, just made it look that much better.
Yeah.
Though I think it might have been Greg who put it on pink paper, which was great. So thank you.
Blue.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, mine was pink.
Oh, mine was pink too.
We'll have to find out what the pattern was. But yes. I will add that Mel Corka and I have met several times looking at our website to improve the user-friendliness of the website and also to increase the amount of information that is easily findable. And so stay tuned. That is coming. And we're talking about all manner of ways of increasing our communication efforts. And just to reiterate the Red Hook Together, the conversation around communication is related to hybrid meetings. We did not have enough time to do a test run of allowing people to use the wrong word, but Zoom in on a meeting so they could attend virtually. Ideally, I'd love to be able to encourage and enable that. The Opens Meeting Law requires the members of the board to be here in person, but that does not preclude people from attending virtually. So stay tuned on that as well. So we now move to regular business. The first item on the agenda is the electric vehicle charging station. We have an intermunicipal agreement from the town of Red Hook. And I mentioned this at the last meeting, and this happily puts it down in writing, answers some of the questions. This is related to adding 2 electric vehicle stations to our municipal parking lot. We have identified the southwest last 2 parking spaces in the municipal lot would get a higher level charging station than what we currently have in the parking lot. And this will be paid for by grants, and the town is handling all of the grant applications, and any matching funds that are required, the town is also handling. And when the charging stations are installed, they will become the property of the village, and the only financial obligation we have is currently we're setting it up to be a free service. I believe these units are set up so that at some point in the future, should we choose, we could charge, but we don't do that right now. I know Ray made an effort to find out exactly how much we're paying now for the ones we have. It is so small, we have not yet found it. So at the next meeting, hopefully we'll be able to report on exactly how much we're spending on the current ones. Does anyone have any, my request of you, the board today, is that we approve my signing of this intermunicipal agreement. And probably proper process is to get a motion and a second and then discuss. May I have a motion to approve the signing of the intermunicipal agreement?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions, issues, concerns?
I just had a question. Is the town also putting in fast charging stations at the town hall, or is it just
Yes.
here?
Yes,
So
there
there's
will,
going to be 2 here and 2 there, or
Yes.
something like that?
yes.
Thanks.
Any other?
And so any difference in the cost of the grant, it says that the town will provide any and all matching funding for the project not to exceed $10,000 without further approval by the town board. I would imagine if that went over, then the town board would approve it.
I,
Extra. It seems generous, 10,000, so.
based on my understanding of the grant opportunities, it does seem generous. I was just more concerned, I wanted to make sure we were not obligating the village to any matching funds.
And is the village going to have to pay for the new pole and
No.
any hookups on that?
No, that's all, that's included in the whole grant.
Okay.
Part of there will be a new, they don't add it to a current utility pole, they will be adding a new utility pole. And to put the 2 spots at the end, they will likely have to move a light post, but that's also included in the cost of doing it. Any other questions?
Going in the future, any maintenance that will be, the village will be required to pay for the maintenance of them, if there's any maintenance.
I would assume,
we
given
owned-
that we own the chargers, that it would be our responsibility for maintenance.
Okay.
I am not aware of any regular maintenance that happens to the ones that we have now. And if it's, and I don't know what happens if someone ends up running them over. I imagine that would be a question to ask.
We did talk
I think the
about
sergeant would have
insurance.
an opportunity to weigh in on that.
Yes, he might.
It said that in the insurance, this is section number 5.
Oh, yes.
In the
we do
agreement,
have
so each
we
party
have
shall
insurance.
obtain liability insurance in the amount of not less than $2 million. So I would think that would cover it. Plus, we also have coverage on the parking lot as well.
Yes, correct. Good point. Seeing no further questions, I'll poll the board for a vote. Start to my right. Trustee Noonan,
Yes.
Trustee Kowalczyk,
Yes.
Trustee Kjarval,
Yes.
Trustee Lang.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
And we'll fill in the dates of at the first there, the first paragraph.
Yes, I will fill in the dates for today. The next item is related to an item that we approved last month, acquiring a new enclosed trailer. And that, because it's new, it would be funded through our from our CHIPS budget. However, the $6,000 that was approved at last month's meeting is no longer a valid number. The one that our highway superintendent had his eye on was gone by the time the meeting was over. And I have in front of me one quotation for a new enclosed trailer. This one is a little bit more substantive. I believe the walls and floor are thicker plywood. However, it is $8,100. the highway super is getting at least one more quotation, if not two. But I would like to ask for a not to exceed $8,500 for this enclosed trailer.
And does that include painting and marking and lights and everything? That's all in, right? Or just for the trailer?
Lights are included. Closed trailer, LED lights.
And I'm just bringing this up because when we purchased the truck, we purchased a truck for an amount, then there was an additional cost for markings and insignias, the Village of Red Hook and the lights and all that, so.
I don't know the answer to that
Okay.
question.
We should be clear with Dan.
I will be clear. It will then have to come in under $450 then if we approve not to exceed $8,500. I don't know how much that normally costs.
I don't either. And I can't imagine it requiring a lot of stuff, but
Right.
Do they put markings on trailers? Is that?
I don't
It'll
know.
be on it'll be on the truck, so
On the
it
truck.
might not need to be on the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, our water tank is, pretty well.
Marked.
Yeah. Good word. All right.
May I have a motion to increase the amount to not to exceed $8,500?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I guess I will pull the board.
And this will
Go-
come from CHIPS, right? All of it?
This will all come from CHIPS, yes. We'll go the other way. Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Kjarval?
Yes.
Trustee Kowalczyk?
Yes.
Trustee Noonan?
Yes.
The mayor says yes, too, if that matters. Thank you. I wanted to have a little further discussion on the marijuana law that will be, that has been passed by the state. And I'm not sure that we are in a position, and perhaps we can have further discussion in our workshop meeting. But I do want to clarify that we have an opportunity as the Village of Red Hook. We cannot make the usage of marijuana illegal because it is now a state law that it is legal. However, we can choose to opt out of allowing a dispensary within the confines of the village, and we can also opt out of having I forget the term, it's basically a bar it's effectively a bar for marijuana. They are two separate things, so we can opt out of either one or both of them. And the way the law is written is if we want to opt out, we need to do that by or before December 31st. If we opt out, we can opt back in later. But if we do not opt out now or before December 31st, we cannot opt out later.
If we opt out, do we still get revenue, or does that revenue all being forfeited to the town or some other entity?
So the revenue, it is my understanding that the revenue that the village would get would be a portion of the sales taxes or the tax associated with whatever marijuana sales are in the village. So if we opt out, we will have no sales in the village, and thus we will have no revenue.
Okay.
There are estimates all over the map in terms of how much revenue that might be. And it usually starts at significant and goes much higher than that. The numbers out of Great Barrington are very high, which I think their numbers are going to go down dramatically because I think a lot of New Yorkers go to Great Barrington currently. But if we are going to opt out, we need to start that process soon, because we're already in the middle of July and we only have till the end of December. So perhaps I can propose that we talk about it in our workshop meeting, and then we have something a little more formal at the next meeting. Does that sound like a good process? And in the meantime, if each of you will think about your perspective, ask your constituents. Those of you who are here or who are listening, if you have a point of view, please share it with us. And you can do that. Send us a letter, send us an email, give us a call, let us know how you feel, and we will certainly circle back with with Sergeant Hildenbrand as well, because I expect he's got an opinion. But I think it's something that we should be mindful of and think about. And I have heard different towns and villages. There are some who are clearly going to opt out and some who are looking forward to opting in. So I think Dutchess County will be a whole mix come December 31st. Okay.
Karen?
Yeah.
I know you want to discuss this at a workshop, but just a question. If we opt in, are there regulations we can put in place as to where
Absolutely.
a pot shop can be located?
The recommendation is not just to opt in, but to have regulations to go with,
Yes.
so that it's not just wherever and how many, and, but that there would be all of those thought through at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
Good-
And
good
there's
question.
Mel Cork, I think, attended an online workshop, and the NICOM General Counsel had a white paper on this, so there's a lot of pretty decent legislation. It seems like it's been thought out pretty well. So I think she did forward it to everybody on the board after she attended that. So if not, I do have a paper copy. I'd be happy
Maybe-
to
I
share.
forwarded it too.
Okay, that'd be great. And if you could re-forward that, and perhaps we can look to see if we can put that on the website as well. That might be a nice thing for others to see. Any other comments? I don't mean to cut off conversation. Okay, thank you. I have on the list Emergency Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. And what I realize is I don't have the act with me. This is, there is a constituent, Tessa Husted, had reached out to me and asked if the board would consider endorsing this federal act. And what I might suggest is that that I contact her again. It occurred to me after I put this on the agenda that it might be ideal to have her come and present the act and share with us why she feels it's important prior to our debating and discussing whether or not we would pass a resolution on that. I can share that I think I actually do think a carbon tax is a good idea. I think it matters how it gets done, but if we're going to we need to incentivize the reduction of carbon generation, and by adding a tax, it makes it more. There's more incentive to shift how energy is produced. And so, and then I'll just mention the opens meeting law. As I mentioned in the beginning, the governor rescinded the executive orders, and the state legislature is discussing a bill that would allow virtual meetings, or more virtualness in the meeting, if you will. But that did not pass, or it hasn't come out of committee yet, as I understand it. So we have gone back to the original open meetings law, which means that the public is required to know where every member of the board is physically located and have public access to where that is. And since most people aren't necessarily interested in opening their home to the public, I believe in the future what they're aiming for is to have a main primary location that would be similar to, or would be for us here, but that possibly a board member could zoom in from somewhere or could virtually beam in from somewhere else. And that would be allowed, but it is not currently. So that is why we are in person. And so stay tuned. I think that will change over time, because the goal is to maintain the level of engagement that many people and many meetings had. And that is certainly my goal. I think more participation is only good for the village, and good for us as village trustees. And then we have also on the list, police body camera purchase review. Body cameras were approved by the board before I became mayor. It has taken a while to connect with the vendor. I think the vendor is quite busy. And in the meantime, so what was approved, I believe it was December or January, was a purchase of body cameras and all of the associated software, hardware, equipment, and storage. And that was for about $12,500. And forgive me, it'll take me a minute to find my papers here. And in the meantime, they've come up with an alternative, which is a service agreement, where we're, instead of buying the equipment outright, and what the original proposal, here we are, was to buy the equipment outright, and it included 1 year of warranty. And then ongoing was about $2,600 for the storage cost. The service agreement is all the same equipment, but it is, as a service quote, it is an annual fee of $4,700 for 5 years. If you do the math, over 5 years, it's about $1,100 more in total for the service agreement. Do I have my numbers right? However, what this includes is 5 years of warranty. So if anything happens to any of the equipment, they will replace it immediately. It includes an equipment refresh in year 3, which I understand to mean is basically they'll replace all the equipment in the middle of the contract. And I would expect that at the end of 5 years, the technology will be different, and we will probably want different technology 5 years from now. Because the downside I could see is at the end of 5 years, we don't own anything. It's not ours. They can take it back. On the other hand, I think we're going to want different equipment at the end. And the sergeant has reviewed both contracts. I don't know if you want to say anything about them.
No, the new one they sent makes more sense. It's less of a startup cost, and so it's a smaller startup cost, and we're getting way more for, in this new contract they sent than the old one that we had the initial approval on.
So it'd be a consistent number year after year.
Yes.
So it'd be easier for us to budget for that every year. And then when the time comes to replace it, we can adjust whatever that budget line is. Hopefully it's a modest increase, perhaps a decrease, probably doubtedly, but who knows? So it might be easier for us to manage the budget on a lease. It seems like you get more bang for your buck. Even though it costs a little more, you're still getting a longer warranty plus refreshing.
The warranties are important. I mean, you're out in the street, something happens, you're in an incident and the camera breaks in the second year of a 5-year contract, we have to buy that. Where the second one is completely covered, so it's really kind of a no-brainer.
I think it's like our, office equipment too. It's leased, and so rather than purchasing something that's going to be antiquated in a couple years, we can have the opportunity to replace.
And Patrick, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Patrick, you're comfortable this gives you what you need?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to be transparent, right? So, I've always kind of hung my hat on that. So with these body cameras, it truly lets us really be transparent. Nobody takes any question out of anything, and, that's the way it needs to be. So cameras are a good move.
I will add from day one, Sergeant Hildenbrand has been in my office saying, I want those body cameras, so.
I will add that he's been an advocate for a long time.
Can I ask about the community engagement capabilities? Do you know about, it's the new option on this. Do you know anything about that?
What was that again?
says that in the command central evidence, it's on in the new quote, they say that there is the ability to have a community engagement capability. I'm just wondering.
I believe what that is if that it can incorporate other video,
Oh, yeah.
And-
Sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead. How you doing?
It's just an opportunity to incorporate other sources of information that might come from the community.
Okay.
So like recently we had, right near the residence, and they have a ring camera. So if they get footage on that ring camera, as we review it, they can send that to me and and I can link that to our body camera footage for evidence.
Okay.
If it goes to trial, or it goes to court, and I have to submit to the district attorney's office, our body camera footage, I can link that ring camera with it. Because I actually emailed the vendor and asked him what that question was.
Awesome. And then it also seems like there's a lot more storage given.
There
as
is,
well.
because we're using the cloud,
Yeah.
right, so there's a lot more storage.
Even still, there will be an upfront learning curve and figuring out how to manage all of the video, et cetera. But I think,
Yeah, they go through a training, so when we get the cameras, they'll come in, they go through a whole training session on it, so a little bit of a learning curve, but we'll get it.
And you wrote up a policy for this stuff, right?
Yeah, so our policy goes to our union,
Okay.
our union reviews it, approves it, and then it comes back.
Okay. Great. So it's going through the process.
Yep.
Awesome.
any other questions? And I have a motion to approve, I guess what I would like to put forth is to approve the video as a service quote. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other questions? Discussion? All right, and Trustee Noonan,
Yes.
Trustee Kowalczyk,
Yes.
Trustee Kjarval,
Yes.
Trustee Lang,
Yes.
and the mayor votes yes as well. Thank you. I think it will be good to get those body cameras up and running. And I think that also fits in with the plan that was agreed to increase transparency, which I know you're very much for, so thank you for that.
Is there any estimate on how soon we can get those?
No, but.
I know, given our experience, that's a tough question.
I have had a couple of conversations, and when Sergeant Hildenbrand emailed, he actually emailed right back. So I'm going to send this in tomorrow, and I'll keep bugging him to find out, and he will get to the point where he'll be looking forward to getting it to us. So
The first time I spoke to the vendor, it was back in December. It was a 3-month window
Right,
then. I'm not sure what it is now.
okay.
I'll certainly report on that as soon as I find out. Okay. Just a couple things that I wanted to mention. It would be super helpful to get reports in by the Wednesday prior to the meeting, because that helps Laura get everything organized and together. And so we would both appreciate that. And then it's not on the agenda, but I'm going to add board comment. If any of the board members would like to make any comments that haven't been covered already? I'll take that as a no. And then we have public comment. Anyone who's here from the public, would you like to make a comment?
I'm Steve Zarchek, 92 Cambridge Drive, Red Hook. Question on Brent's one report on the trees that you're taking down. Was there any on South Broadway?
I believe there was.
Nameway right in front of Griff's.
No,
that-
that one's not coming down.
That tree is becoming very bad.
Is it
You
drop-
have to pull off Amherst Road you have to pull out across the crosswalk in order to see.
I'll put it, for this year, it won't be on the list, but we'll consider it for next year.
Just to clarify, so the issue is not the health of the tree, it is a visibility issue?
Visibility.
Okay.
All your traffic has to pull out. Even when you're exiting Griff's itself, you have to pull literally just about right in the road to see any southbound, any southbound traffic.
I mean, it's hard for us to cut down a healthy tree, as you know, but we will take a peek at it.
I don't think the tree's that healthy. I think it's about ready.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thanks for coming. We appreciate it. So with that, that ends the public comment period. We do have business in executive session. We'll be discussing hiring with Sergeant Hildebrand. So with that, we will, I guess we don't close this meeting. We just go into executive session. Do we need a motion?
Yeah.
Motion.
Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
Second.
Thank you, or that's my motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we will depart and go into executive session. And, oh, wait, before,
Pay bills?
yes, I know we have to pay bills. We can do that when we come back. We'll do that when we come back.
Can I ask one question?
You may.
If you're not going to make any new business when we come back from executive session tonight, then I don't need to stay.
So let me postpone the going into executive session, and I will make a motion to pay the bills after audit. May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I will now unpause our executive session, and we will now go into executive session. Thank you. Thank you.